Hey everybody, Three Drinks Down, this is Nate, and today, bringing you something a little different. We're gonna do some blending. So as you guys can imagine, making content and just doing reviews every Thursday, gonna run out of bottles really fast. So, got the idea to maybe, hey, let's try our hand at some blending, and the thought process initially wasn't to necessarily do all the picking all the time. Maybe what we'll do is we'll actually make one of those random kind of internet wheel things and pick 2 or 3 and do it that way and just see what kind of monster Frankensteins we can come up with. But to kick us off, I wanted to go back to a bourbon that we went back to earlier this year and didn't really exactly love, but thought it was solid, in Calumet 16. And part of what really left it short for us in that video was it had a beautiful kind of toffee, some of those older notes for us, but it just didn't have a little bit of sweetness we were looking for, and maybe a little bit of something else. So, thought of different directions we could go, and I said, you know, one that we really like a lot is Weller Antique 107. So, let's see where that takes us. But before we do, we would be absolutely honored if you would please just consider subscribing to the channel, make a comment below about something you'd like to see us blend in the future that ideally you've seen on the channel before, but who knows, we can try. And then of course, if you like what we're doing here, drop us a like as well. Thanks everybody. All right, so I'm not gonna go into it too terribly much, but Calumet 16, as I mentioned earlier, was one that we reviewed earlier this year and thought it was good. We didn't really pan it. We just said for 16-year-old juice, we now know, of course, it's Barton, at least while not technically disclosed. Everyone is of a belief it's Barton juice. It's solid. I've got it right here in this glass. I'll take a little sniff and sip really quickly, just to kind of go through it, make sure everything checks out in my head. Maybe nothing majorly changed. The bottle is about half full now, so let's see. Yeah, still some of the same notes. There's a little dustier kind of note. A little funk on it, actually, from the wood, I'm guessing, just the aged wood. I think we caught that a little bit towards the end last time. And yeah, again, nothing wrong with this. This is actually a very nice whiskey. Probably just for the age, it's just coming straight forward. We'd say maybe whiskey flavored. Whiskey might be a great way to describe it, which is such a cop-out. But there is a little bit of fruit on the end, but nothing crazy. I think we were both looking for a little more from this. There's a lot of complexity there, but we were looking for a little more to amp it up. So in comes our friend, Old Weller 107 Antique. Now we're almost done with this bottle. That's a problem. I don't have a backup, but you know what? We're gonna do this today anyway. So we have it in this glass here. We'll give it the old sniff and sip. Cinnamon, you would expect. Maybe a slight undertone of that grape that we talked about. Definitely, the wood here is not as present as the other. So we're thinking this might pair up really well. Could crash and burn, we don't know. And yeah, there's that little bit of sweetness we're looking for, a little bit of cinnamon we're looking for. You're not quite getting amped up on that Calumet 16, or at least in our batch, that Calumet 16. So what it comes down to then is kind of saying, well, we don't want to do 50-50 every time, because that's kind of boring, I think. And honestly, I don't want this 107 to completely overtake all those old oaky notes in that Calumet 16. So I think I'm going to start with a 3-to-1 Calumet 16 to 107 and see how that goes. Now, we're probably only going to do one blend today, but in future episodes, if this works out really well and you guys like this, who knows? We might do more than one blend to try and get something dialed in if we think we're close. We also might throw in the towel if we think something's so far off it's just trash. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm gonna go off screen, blend it up let it sit for a few minutes and mellow, then do the sniff test, a little tasting. Let you guys know what I think on this 3-to-1 Calumet 16 Antique 107 blend. Okay, I'm back. And so this has been poured and blended and sat for about 5-8 minutes, doing some swirling in between, letting it sit for another minute. You know, one of the things I think I forgot to tell you guys at the top is another reason this kind of came to my mind is how many times have you done a tasting where you've had 3 or 4 and at the end you just try and make that monster mash, so to speak, whatever you want to call it. And usually it turns out like pond water, right? That's kind of the idea here. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we can throw together and maybe make some happy accidents, I think, you know? Who knows? Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But let's get into the smell on this guy real quick, see what we've created, see what happened. Right off the rip, I think we've pulled some sort of dark fruit with vanilla. Not like custardy. That's interesting. Definitely like a black or a blueberry. Still that wood presence, that funkier wood presence, but it's toned down a little bit. And there's actually a lot more sweetness in the glass and even some subtle baking spices that, while both of them had them, they seem to have come together. There is still an off-putting note in here. I don't know, kind of just a bready note that I wasn't expecting to get. All in all, the nose is not bad. I mean, not great, not average, but a little better than average. I'm interested to see how this turns out. It's new territory, so cheers. You know, on first sip, and we'll take a second sip before we really dive in, we've maintained elements of both. I wouldn't say they've married completely on the first sip, but we've definitely maintained elements of both. I think I can tell you just off the first sip alone, good call to only go 1 part 107. It's definitely there, noticeable, but not overpowering. Let's take a second sip. So we've accomplished something for sure. Calumet 16, when James and I reviewed it, was absolutely missing a sweet element up front. The 107 has taken care of that. It is still there saying, hi, I'm on your tongue. There's vanilla here. There's maybe some fruit here. There's a bunch of sweetness. What it's also done is brought a little baking spice to the mid palate, where you start to see the Calumet come back a little bit more. So it's interesting so far. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. All of that is great. Those are all positives. But I'm also feeling like maybe a little heavy on the 107 still. Let's take one more sip and then I'll kind of render a verdict here for you guys. You know, when you set out to do this, you hope that you find something where the sum is better than the total of its parts, right? I think I said that correctly. If I didn't, somebody please tell me in chat that I'm an idiot. But I think I did. And in this case, I have to tell you, I think that we need to be even more restrained on the 107. I think we found something that's very workable here. And maybe we'll explore it in a future episode. Tonight, I'm not quite set up to do that with you guys. That's okay. What I would tell you is this was not a total miss, but this was not a home run either. This might have been a walk, we'll call it. So I'm not sure it was a hit in any way, shape, or form either. And I hate to go to the baseball analogies. If you don't follow baseball, essentially what I'm saying is this is one of those things where I'm not super disappointed or want to spit it out, but I'm also not going to recommend this to someone go try and blend this particular exact blend here either. So it's been an interesting experiment. I'd love to hear more if you guys have played around with Calumet 16 and blending anything, or played around with Antique 107 and blended anything. Both of those, probably not very many of you have, but who knows? Please leave us a comment below, let us know. And I want to also hear about your comments on this particular episode. If you think this is a cool concept you'd like to see us do more of, I'm going to shoot a few more of these. If they don't tend to take off, we'll probably discontinue it. Who knows? But your feedback absolutely means a ton to us. So I just want to let you know, when I blended this, when I took Calumet 16 and Weller Antique 107, 3 parts Calumet 16, 1 part Antique 107, not recommended. Close, but no call. So this has been a blending session for you.